would you describe your experience with working with the Transputec team?
Being brutally honest, everything from the onboarding, really professional and really engaging. Once you'd won the contract, it's night and day the experience that the end users have. They have seen a massive difference and how much different it is working with Transputec from the previous MSP.
As a IT head, what would you say the pain points are that Transputec has helped you deal with?
Cybersecurity. It gives you sleepless nights because you just don't want a breach. You want to have as much layers there as possible.
What would you say to another company considering working with Transputec?
Anybody who's looking to work with Transputec, go for it. Run an RFP, engage with the guys, and you will see from the start the professional and the partnerships that you guys give.
Hello everyone, I'm Pamela from Transputec and I'm delighted to be joined by Fraser and Hussein. Fraser is from Amber Infrastructure and is one of our clients, and Hussein is Amber's Service Delivery Manager from Transputec. And today's chat is all about hearing about Amber's experience of working with Transputec, what's worked well, what's evolved, and how our partnership continues to grow. So thank you so much for joining us, both Fraser and Hussein. On that note, shall we just dive into some quick introductions? Over to you, Fraser.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm head of IT at Amber Infrastructure. I've been there for 3.5 years now. Just to give you a bit of background on, I suppose, Amber and how we got where we are with Transputec. Amber never had any inside IT experience and knowledge for a number of years. It was a usual, I suppose, finance company that it kind of landed on the side at other people's desks to kind of get there with IT. And as they grew, etc., they I suppose they kind of came to the conclusion that, hey, IT is important, it can deliver for the business, it can become more, instead of being a blocker, it can actually enable the business, etc. And they got speaking to myself and I appeared in the role as head of IT. So yeah, Amber are I suppose a box standard asset management company, manage, I don't even know the number. It's billions worth of, I suppose, fund money, etc. Some of it, I suppose, the better known investments that we manage. We have one of the big state funds, INPP, which invested in Tideway, which is the Thames, the new sewage link under the Thames. And also we've recently became preferred bidder for Sizewell C, the new nuclear plant that's being built at Sizewell. So that comes with its issues, and we all know that nuclear can be a bit of a kind of touchy subject sometimes, but yeah, so that's where I am. That's what Amber does, and I suppose getting on to like yourselves and Transputec. When I came in at first, it was very, very open that Amber wasn't happy with their current IT provider, and one of the main goals of the roles was, we're going to market, we're running a full RFP. And through that process, that's Transputec won it. So that's how the partnership started, and it's been what, 2.5 years now, Hussein, is it? Is this worth? Yeah, this will be going into the 3rd year.
Yeah.
In fact, yeah, Fraser, I don't know if you recall, you probably don't, but your very first reach out to Transputec was via me. Yes, absolutely. That was back in November 2022. I think you approached us through LinkedIn. I think somehow you found us through LinkedIn.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think I had been kind of, because I had gone to market and through my networks and contacts, etc. And I'm sure somebody had recommended Transputec. I'm sure if I went looking, I could find out who it was, but it was definitely, it was through recommendations. But yeah, Pam, I couldn't even have remembered that. I'm glad you, I'm
No,
glad
it's
you said
lovely.
it because I didn't have a clue.
No, it's lovely to hear that you came to us through recommendation. Word of mouth is obviously just the best thing, and I actually do recall you coming in and into the office. I think you must have been with a few other board colleagues, and I just briefly said hello to you because I know Stuart was busy running through everything with you and showing you
Yeah.
around the office.
Yeah, I did. I came into the office as part of the RFP process.
Yes, that's right.
Just it was to see your setup and
Mm.
chat with Stuart. Also, I think we had Anka and some of the team doing presentations, etc. But yes, I have been into the office up in, is it Stonebridge Park or Wembley,
Yes,
whatever you want to
correct.
call it.
Good
Yeah,
memory.
Yeah.
yeah. The posh part of Stonebridge Park, we like to call it.
I'm saying nothing.
Oh,
Saying nothing. I'm keeping
fantastic.
Smart,
quiet.
Fraser. Smart.
Oh. So lovely. So I think overall you've been working with Transputec for about sort of 2.5 years now on
Yeah.
average, which is really, really lovely. And I'm just going to talk about the partnership and the experience. How would you describe your experience with working with the Transputec team?
Well, as I previously mentioned, being brutally honest, the experience that we had with our previous MSP, um, the bar was set really low. It was set really low. But everything from the onboarding, even starting through the RFP process, really professional, really engaging, onto the onboarding once you'd won the contract, etc. And even going forward since then, it's night and day the experience that the end users have. Because at the end of the day, okay, I'm head of IT, but the key is delivering to the business, and it's the end users who are the key people. So they have seen a massive difference. They're always commenting on the positives, etc., and how much different it is working with Transputec from the previous MSP. And even from my side, when I'm working on projects, we've delivered a number of projects as well. So everything has been positive, and even before me being at Amber, um, I've worked at a number of MSPs throughout the UK, and I do have to say that you guys are doing a really good job. It's not everything in the garden is rosy. There's always going to be bumps in the road,
Mm.
etc. But that's what at Amber, we work on partnerships, and we really do um, look at having long-term partners. We're not one of these companies who will keep going to market and throwing things out. We really want to, if there's problems, let's fix it. These guys at Transputec from the top down will always be like, right, how can we fix it? Really sorry, let's get the fix in place. So yeah, as I say, it's not always smooth, but we always work together,
Mm.
get a resolution in place, and move on.
Oh, fantastic. So it sounds like the support that you're getting from our side helps your team stay productive and stay connected. And overall, all of the challenges that come along, we're working closely as partners and
Mm.
getting through resolving the issues.
Yeah, like I've got a direct line to a number of people like across the
Mm.
business,
Yeah.
which is it's a breath of fresh air because a lot of MSPs close in, and it's like, oh, you can only go to your account manager and that's it. But
Mm.
Transputec have been since day one. Like I've got a line straight into Stuart, Vinod, Hassan, a number of people, Mal, every area of the business. Which again, that's exactly what a partnership should be. It should be working together.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you for that, Fraser. You talked about some projects that you're working on at the moment. One of them, I think we were supporting you with, is the SharePoint project. Can you just briefly talk about that, what challenges you were looking to solve or how that's progressed?
Yeah, challenges it's trying to solve. Yes, it definitely is. Being brutally honest, we all know data's king. Data is king for most
Mm,
businesses now. And if you're not using your data properly, you're behind the eight ball straight away. So,
mm,
and being brutally honest, our data is a mess. We have data which is in SharePoint. We have some that's in OneDrive. We also have legacy drives. So users are simply saying, where is our data? What's the right data? What's the live data? Oh, we've got 3 copies of data. What? And it's a complete mess. So what we're trying to achieve and looking to achieve with this project is firstly, clean up SharePoint and have it as a one point of document management and our one go-to area for data. We will be retiring the legacy drives because they're just not fit for purpose now. So it's partly twofold. We're looking at putting the right data framework and governance in place on SharePoint, and also retiring and migrating the data across from our legacy drives into SharePoint. It's a massive challenge because it's a change to the way that the business actually works. It's IT, we can, and SharePoint's there, right? We can just go, SharePoint's there, go and use it, end users, it's over to you. But it's got to work for the business.
mm,
So we've been running sessions and just off one about half an hour ago with the legal area. So we've been running sessions across the business with Haley and
mhm,
David for Office Labs and picking into, okay, how does the business actually work? How do you currently work with your data and how can we improve it? So we've been, and I've been very conscious that I've been saying, this is not an IT project. This is a business project, and it has to be driven, or there has to be full engagement by the business and by the departments because that's what we're trying to deliver. So yeah, it is a massive project. It will be running for months and months yet,
mm,
but that's what we're looking to achieve. So far, as I say, we're now just about to roll out a pilot to one of the areas and give it to the legal area and say, okay, go and
mm.
have a look at that, drive it. What's the good? What's the bad? What's the indifferent? And would that work for your area? And then the plan will be we'll move into the other easy wins because
Mm.
we've got 2 areas of the business that is challenging to say the least, just because the way that they work and because the way that our
Mm.
business works, it touches on so much sharing data externally. Um, all of our deals internally touch on so many areas. So yeah, it's complex. It's complex, but we'll get there. We will get there.
Yeah, fantastic. My God, it does sound complex. Hassan, can you share a few metrics or anything, or put size on the complexity of this project from your perspective?
Um, I don't think I'm actually best placed to speak about the projects,
Okay.
because we have
Oh,
the lovely Haley handling that,
oh,
and thank
poor
God that she is.
Haley.
Mm,
But in terms of sort of data management for Amber as a whole, um, I work with what we have now and sort of everything that's live in BAU. This SharePoint project is going to transform really what the data looks like for Amber and how things are. But in terms of the justifications for doing such a large project, I have a bit more exposure to that. And I can see the challenges that a lot of the teams face within Amber around data and accessing data and things like that, especially from my point of view, is SharePoint and how to use that efficiently. And currently, I'm speaking to Fraser pretty much every other week around buying extra SharePoint storage and things like that, just because it's a bit of a mess at the moment. So that kind of gives a highlight as to the criticality of this project. But yeah, it's really important with a project like the SharePoint project that you get buy-in across Amber's business, so all the department leads buying into the project, and I think we've had that so far. And it, from what I can see from my point of view, it's a very, very collaborative project. So I think, yeah, it's going to achieve what the plan was, and I think that's because there is a collaborative effort between ourselves and Amber.
Fantastic. And so the impact of this project is going to affect the day-to-day operations of all the end users?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like, this is one of the real drivers, and the business are crying out for it. The business are saying, like, from the top execs right down to the bottom, that where is our data? They don't know what is the correct source of data, or how one of the departments is working is different from how somebody else is working. So it really is, it will be a massive enabler to the business going forward. And this is one of the, I suppose, the building blocks and the foundations that before we go into the world of AI, we have to have our data structured, clean, and in the right format and framework before we can start plugging in anything more. Not even just in the AI world, but just so that we can start working properly with our data.
Yeah, fantastic. And just as an organization, are you looking to use AI in the scope of your works?
Yeah,
Moving forward?
It's already, I'm holding it at arm's length as much as I possibly can at the moment, but it's there. It has to be, but the way that just the mess of our data, it would be it would be a massive mistake if we just started in the AI route before we even had this foundation set up with our current data. There's a prime example that one of the departments, quite rightly, can't even get their hands on all of their historical data because they don't know where it is and they don't know what's the right copy. So straight away, that's one of the areas that we're looking to deliver for them and actually show it and kind of showcase it across the business to actually say, right, we've done this. Then very, very quickly, that then would enable us to start going down the AI world. But until then, we're stuck.
Yeah, no, you have to get the foundations correct first before we can build upon those. And the actual SharePoint project, is that something that's going to be continuing into foreseeable future? Is it likely to be completed? What's the time frame remaining on that?
Good question. It's really, like, from my previous experience, SharePoint can be a never-ending project, but in this instance, it cannot be. It has to. Sitting here right now, I believe that if we have completed it by the summer, we will be. That's a realistic goal. I think there's easy wins that we can deliver across the business over the first quarter. I think there's certain departments or certain areas that we can deliver. Yep, great. But the full project, the summer of 2026, I think is a fair, realistic target. It also ties into another project which Transputec are slightly involved in, which is our SAP, our finance migration. We're migrating from one solution into SAP for HANA, SAP Cloud, and we have to deliver SharePoint to enable us to get our finance data out and shared across the business. So again, there's a key link there between those two projects. SharePoint has to be there to allow us to fully deliver SAP. And these are two massive projects for the business.
Fantastic. I'm glad you're going to be working like seamlessly when everything is all bells and whistles are going to be going from really well. Another project that Transputec has supported Amber with is the Intune one, I believe. Intune deployment. Yeah. Can we run through a little bit about about that particular project?
Yeah. So I suppose it was three kind of, lines to that project. There was Intune, there was Autopilot, and it enabled us to refresh our laptop estate and deliver Windows 11 across the business. So that was, we had Intune implemented by our previous MSP, and again, it was a mess. Like it really just was not the correct implementation. So Transputec had the lovely job of tidying that up and getting it into a nice working environment. Autopilot also enables us now, and I suppose the goal with Autopilot is, as a business, we are spread across the globe. And previously we would get laptops built in London, next, ship them out to wherever they were going. It could be Poland, it could be America, etc. But the Autopilot area allows us to automate the onboarding and the provisioning of our laptops, etc. It'll improve the end user experience, and also cost save, because we were then being hit by taxes for shipping equipment out to America. We were getting hit by custom and excise taxes, same with Poland or wherever we shipped them. So there's cost saving, and it enables us to work better as a business on that side. And at the same time, the project allowed us to completely refresh our desktops and get over the massive hump of having to retire Windows 10. And the project went really, really, really smooth. I've got to say, I thought we had tight timescales, but it was delivered weeks ago, weeks and weeks and weeks ago. So between the project team and and Sai also being on site, our on-site engineer, it just worked. I just didn't have to worry about anything. It really was. There was constant comms, there was project meetings. It was Sai on site was a massive help as well to the project, our engineer. And actually we got cost savings at the project as well, because at the end of the day we brought it in under budget, and quite substantially under budget, because it just worked. There's nothing else really to say. It worked. It was delivered.
And you can see those tangible benefits even now to this date. They're all
Oh yeah, so us being able to retire Windows 10 in such an efficient way now then allows us to do our Cyber Essentials Plus renewal as well, in a really time efficient way as well, because we need that by the end of the year. But if we hadn't delivered this project, it would have just knocked everything months down the line, because manually having to build laptops next, ship them out to users, bring them back. But the project just delivered on time, and the end users had next to no impact, next to no. They get new devices. Yeah, there was maybe some teething issues on a few devices, but at the end of the day, delivered on time, under budget. That's what you want.
I would add as well to that I think Sai and the impact he had on that project. So he's obviously Amber's on-site engineer, comes from Transputec. He joined Amber a few months. He joined the Amber account a few months prior to that project kicking off. And I think the pipeline from the project into BAU, so into Sai, was I think what saved so much time on that project. So I picked things up, and he was so useful. So that's another thing in terms of just collaborating with the customer. Sai got to site and was just fully onboarded really quickly by Fraser and everyone else, and it allowed him just to kick on and deliver on that project, which was really, really good.
Yeah.
And how many devices are we talking about here? Like how many users? So can we put that into context?
Yeah, I think they're all Lenovo, so it allowed us to move from Dell devices to Lenovo devices. Again, they were all procured through Dean. So again, it was working directly with Transputec and the
Mm.
partnership on the purchasing side of things. And I think it was, yeah, well, it wasn't all Lenovo's actually. There was about 15 surfaces, so in total, just under 100 devices in total.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Thank you for sharing for that phrase. It sounds like Transputec and Amber built up a really good trusted partnership approach, you know, and the communication lines are good, therefore the results are on time, within budget, and any challenges are openly communicated so that solutions can be found.
Yeah, definitely.
Brilliant. And so if you, yeah, I mean, you've talked a lot about the partnership now. If you had to describe the partnership in one sentence about Transputec, what could you say? How could you describe that?
I think I mentioned it earlier. It's open.
Apart from
It really is.
Sam.
It really is. It's there's always communication there, and we're working as partners. And if we had to say that, because obviously we don't have an IT department, Transputec just is seen as our IT department and our IT team. I think also a good, I suppose a kind of good gauge is that, and it might be a silly little thing, but getting feedback on support calls, Hussein, like we get users who will respond to the actual good, bad, indifferent, the traffic light system. And I always think if you're even getting that feedback, then that just shows you that there's the engagement there. And really, our end users just see it as that's our IT department.
Fantastic. Oh no, it's pleased to hear. It's really good to hear that. Can you share any moments where you feel like Transputec has gone over and beyond?
I'm trying to think any specific examples. I suppose there's always P1s that will pop up. There's always going to be issues. Um, actually gone back, and it might have been before Hassan's time actually. Our internal Wi-Fi, we had continual problems with our Wi-Fi. And it was having a knock-on effect, not just with the business on day to day on our devices, but also the area of London Bridge that we're in. We couldn't make phone calls, right? On the mobiles, right? The network coverage is so bad, terrible. But because our Wi-Fi was down, we couldn't do Wi-Fi calls either. It, that was one of the projects that we had kit in really, really quick, and the guys worked over a weekend. It was done within, I think, from order to end. It was lucky if it was two weeks. And I would say, and Dean pushed to get the hardware, but also getting the resources on site to actually get that done within. I'm positive it was maybe 3 weekends maximum. It was maybe 3 weeks, but delivering that and straight away, that again, a little thing like that, but it made a massive difference to us as a business.
Fantastic. Good, good, good. Another question, Fraser, for you. I know you love answering these questions. The pain as a IT head there, what would you say the pain points are in the tech IT sector that Transputec has alleviated or helped you deal with?
Cybersecurity, number one. It's sleepless nights over breaches, just security as a whole, because we're in the regulated finance world. Again, one of our two elements that we've implemented. So we implemented the SOC with the ThreatSpike solution. So straight away, we're now all of our devices are being monitored. But also another, and it might seem an absolute minuscule little bit, but as part of that, Tony, we implemented the report phishing button and reporting suspicious email button. And the difference to the business that has made, because not only can we track and actually see, get numbers on how many possible attacks, how many emails are coming in, etc., but the users are actually reporting them, whereas previously we didn't have anything. The users would maybe come up and say, "Oh yeah, I've got this suspicious email," or we set up a mailbox that they would forward it to. But that is one of the major ones. It really is. It seems a little minuscule thing, but cybersecurity for me is just it gives you sleepless nights, because you just don't want a breach. You want to have as much layers there as possible. But the SOC that we've got in place, ThreatSpike, and then that little enhancement that was rolled out, major difference to us.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Any other pain points, Fraser? That's cybersecurity. Anything on cloud migration or any other kind of, Hussein? I don't know if you can share some light on this.
I suppose the only other pain points that we have, it's kind of gone back to what we were talking about earlier about SharePoint and our data. Data's a major pain point for us as a business, just because of the current state of it and the complete mess it's in. That's really the only other kind of day-to-day big pain points. AI can be, it's kind of linked to the cybersecurity as well, because we've always got to be really careful on how our users are using AI and what data they're putting in there, because and we're trying to educate them on that, to say as soon as you put data out there into the cloud, it's out there. So we have to be really careful. So continually educating our users is always something that we're trying. It's difficult. It's difficult to get engagement, because whenever you send it maybe training, you can see the users going, "Oh, more training. I've got to spend an hour on this." But that again, just the keeping them engaged and keeping them up to speed is maybe another pain point that we're continually fighting.
I think I'd only echo what Fraser sort of said. I think because of the nature of Amber's business and what they do, security is just #1 priority. But I think the current process that we have in place kind of echoes our co-creation kind of approach to things. We have a matrix example for any sort of security instance that we have. And as soon as it comes in, we know, oh, this is for Fraser to pick up with the end user, or this is for the SOC to pick up with the end user, XYZ. We know where every single security incident should go and be. And that's reported on really heavily each month that we have our service reviews. And also, just off the back of what you said at the end there, Fraser, I think, yeah, it's hard. The key really for security is around end user engagement. But every month when we do our service reviews, we can see the number of people who have reported emails that they think are a bit suspicious, this, that, and the other. Amber always has a really good number. It's always a good response rate. So there is a level of engagement with the end users. And again, that makes my job and Fraser's job and everyone else's job a lot easier.
Fantastic. Well, a lot of it comes down to training then, like Fraser was talking about, educating that the security is the end user, just as much the end user's responsibility. Does Transputec support you with the training on that side, or how are you training your staff?
Yeah, so we use training modules currently through, we've got People HR, which is our HR compliance tool that we use. So that's what we use for the specific training. So we've actually just pushed out a module in the last 6 weeks there. I'm just looking at the date, and it was finally completed last week. We had said the 31st of October, but as always, we had stragglers who couldn't find the 1 or 2 hours to do it. But they're all finished. But that's who we use currently for our training. We're always sending out communications as well about X, Y, and Z. If something's a kind of hot topic or something comes on the news, etc., I'm always communicating with them. But it's a really difficult one to always keep on top of. But yeah, I've got a network of, I suppose, a network that I've built through the years who are in the security world as well, and they'll always fire stuff across and say, Fraser, you kind of need to keep an eye on this. We've also had it a couple of times that we've been alerted to Amber being, I suppose, our risk level has raised and being targeted, etc. But that's not directly through Transputec, but then I'll be able to go and say, hey guys, Tony, can you have a look at this? Can we make sure that we've got this maybe blacklisted or keep an eye on it? But yeah, it's a difficult area.
Yeah. No, fantastic. I mean, from what you're saying, like you've established really good relationships with all of the key people to help support you on whether it's the SharePoint, whether it's cybersecurity, whether it's device management. I hear you like rolling out all the names like Dean and Tony, and it's fantastic. It feels like that it is your IT family and an extension to your own IT department, and it's really, really great to hear, because that's one of the Transputec values, to become a trusted IT partner. So it's great to feel that you're actually feeling that. I can hear that in your communications.
And we got that feeling throughout the RFP process. It was interesting because you saying about partnerships. It wasn't something that we had to push during the RFP process. We knew what we were looking for. We knew that it was a partnership. And through the initial RFP and all the presentations, etc., exactly as you said, Pam, it was that was kind of pushed. We work in partnerships, etc. And it was music to our ears, because it was like, that's exactly what our ethos is as well.
Fantastic. Oh, great. And just a couple of things. So would you do anything different? Would you have gone to a different supplier IT provider? Are you most happy that you have reached out and engaged and have this renewal with Transputec?
Yeah, simple as that. Yes. As I said, it's interesting going back to the decision and Transputec winning the contract. It was a difficult decision. We had it down to the final two, but we did a scoring. We involved a number of areas across the business, and we could go back to that scoring matrix and actually say, yeah, that was all correct. We wouldn't. I suppose I'm going to contradict myself from what I said earlier. Whilst we will always try and fix problems and see if there was a problem with the relationship with Transputec, or there was something, we will always try fix it. It will get to if it does get to a point that we know this is broken, we would go back out to market, but it's not even up for discussion. It's not even on anybody's mind. It's just like, yeah, renewal time, done. So yeah, whilst we're always willing to work and fix any problems, if it was broken, we would move on. But as I say, no, it's not even up for discussion at the moment, and there's no need for it to be.
Fantastic. Good, good, good. Just lastly, just talk about future plans. Like obviously Amber is a growing organization. How do you see Transputec being able to scale up with you as you're growing? And does the partnership, do you see growth within the partnership as you grow?
Yeah, I think we have just recently merged with Boyd Watterson, who are based in America. I believe there's big opportunities for Transputec because as the businesses merge, they're becoming bigger. They're also, we're global. That there's America, there's the UK, there's Europe, there's Australia, New Zealand. We need a 24/7 service point. So me sitting here right now, I truly, truly believe that Boyd Watson coming on and Amber merging, there is big opportunities there for Transputec and also for Amber and Boyd Watterson because we know it works. We know that the 24/7 support alone works, and that's before we even mention about delivering projects, etc. So straight away, I think there's an easy switch on that we can provide the new bigger business something that they don't have at the moment because they don't have a true 24/7 service desk. So straight away we've got an offering here that we can just switch on overnight. Hey presto, it's done. The end users, we're providing them with a much better service. So yeah, in short, there is big opportunities.
Lovely. Great to hear that, Hassan. That means you're going to be kept busy, no doubt.
I mean, yeah, I have absolutely no doubt. I'm busy as it is already. So there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Hassan, can you just provide, from a service delivery perspective, all of the offerings that Amber actually reach out to Transputec for?
I would say we offer Amber quite an extensive array of offerings. So for the most part, we have things tied into the contract that we offer in terms of network support, things like that, end user support too. But Amber, in terms of the day-to-day, I'm often engaged around licensing because we provide licensing to Amber, and we sort of keep close on licensing in terms of they have a lot of new joiners and leavers and things like that, and things like Copilot that they want to roll out and stuff. So we work with them on that. And also in terms of any sort of hardware procurement and things like that, we often offer that to Amber too. Currently at the moment, we're working on a potential refresh of some of the legacy kit there at the office. And the good thing, I think, with Amber as well is that Fraser mentioned earlier, he has those lines into Transputec. So for example, if Fraser needs X amount of licenses that Dean needs to procure, then he can send an email straight to Dean, and 10 minutes later, he's got the quote over and stuff like that. So because Fraser has those lines into the business, and it's not just me as the SDM, he can sort of reach out to people and get answers really, really quickly. And I think that makes my job a lot easier, but it makes the service run a lot smoother as well.
Fantastic. And now, just one last thing, because I know you've given up so much of your time. I really, really, really appreciate it, Fraser. One last thing. What would you say to another company considering working with Transputec?
Seriously, like not, but seriously, that there's as I said, I'm not going to say 100% of the time everything's smooth. That would be a complete lie, right? But I've worked with enough MSPs over the years to know the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. And Transputec are right up there in the service that they provide. Because at the end of the day, as I've said, the end users are the guys who are at the coalface, and when I hear nothing from them, that's brilliant because it's been delivered. But anybody who's looking to work with Transputec, go for it. run an RFP, engage with the guys, and you will see from the start the professional and the partnerships that you guys give.